we've gone through the year, the first step that we had in the program, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that when I get to my comments, is our secretary's report. We're going to keep right on down that trail. I'd like to call on Nancy Austin for her final secretary's report, introductions of Rotarians. Yes, Nancy Austin.
We have a respected new member with us today, Jamie Sarche, is the guest of John Finnegan, and she is the Director of Outreach and Prearranged Funeral Planning with Feldman. Welcome, Jamie. John Aldland is a visiting Rotarian from Sherman. He is a guest of Mike Diaz. He's been here before, and we're glad he came back. We have a very special birthitarian, Sue Davis Hornby. Happy birthday.
Great, thank you. You found one, yes, thank you.
We have some announcements. Please keep the Harry family in your thoughts and prayers. Bob Harry passed away on June the 25th. He would have celebrated his 95th birthday tomorrow. Bob was a member of Rotary for 52 years, and the arrangements and the services are still pending. We'll get that information to you. Family Rotary Evening at the Rockies will take place on Wednesday evening, July the 24th. Reservations are required by July the 12th, and you can see James for more information. Well, I've had the pleasure of serving as a Rotary Secretary twice in my lifetime. The first time I was 14 years old and my dad was district governor, and I had strict rules such as all the letters had to be typed in triplicate using nasty carbon paper with no visible signs of correction tape. 45 years later, serving as Secretary at Club 2031 was much less stressful, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you for asking me to do that. Ending my term, I'll take the advice of Will Rogers. Never miss a good chance to shut up. Thank y'all.
You have been an exception. Really nice job. The thing that we have done each week, and it was intentional, is to work on networking and have a conversation that was ongoing through the year about how to be a network builder, how to take advantage of everything that Rotary offers us. Will Snyder has been just, he has been so good about that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. When Jim approached me about doing this networking moment, I got, of course, very, very excited. And I said, networking, it's going to be fabulous. Jim, we're going to have a blast. And Jim looked at me, he's like, yeah, NBC, CBS, CNN, PBS. I was like, no, Jim, networking, getting together, doing things together. And he just looked at me like I had an extra arm going on in my head. And I said, networking. He's like, well, like radio. Like KBCO? I'm like, no, networking. And he said, the Mountain, 99.5 the Mountain? I said, no. He said, 103.5 the Fox? I said, no. He said, oh, Cozy 101. I said, no, Jim, networking. And he finally said, I got it. 850. KOA. The Fan. I said, no, Jim, networking, getting together and, introducing people to other people and commonality and building, relationships. And he said, oh, like in engineering, networking. And I said, yeah, networking, And he said, like oil and gas, network of pipes and wires. I said, no, Jim, networking. And like any other engineer, I noticed he was looking at his shoes and not mine. And, so then I said, networking. And he said, oh, like wiring. And then he put this in his ear, and he talked into this. And I said, Jim, come on. It's networking, man. I'm poking fun. This whole thing was really impossible. Jim gives me a lot of credit, but what it really was an absolute level of collective consciousness. When we had a program and we wanted to talk about networking, Jim and I would come up with an idea, and Jim and I would communicate early on in the week about how we wanted to weave that into the program. And then, what it really was all of you. The stories that you brought to me, the stories that you shared about networking are what really makes it happen. And I wanted to thank the entire club. Thank you so much for all the positive energy you put into it. When I look at this table, David French came up to me before the meeting and he put his arm around me and he said, when you look at all these signs on this tables for all these committees that we have, it just makes you stop and take a deep breath and realize how much positive work we're doing all the time. Each and every one of you makes it possible. Thank you so much for all the energy you put into networking this year. Thanks for coming early. Thanks for staying late. Thanks for wearing the pin. Stay plugged in.
One of the hard parts about working within a large club is in any given year we do lose some members, and it's hard. And this year we did lose a few members, and I think we'd like to take just a moment of silence to recognize them and think about them. If you'd like to stand, that would be great. And just remember
his first rule before I get started here. His first rule is, number one, never sit at the same table in successive times for Rotary. I'm going to add something to that. These people with red badges, as you all know, are new members. When you see these people at our club, introduce yourself, sit with them, get to know them. Today it's my pleasure to introduce Craig McNeil. And Craig has a company that's called McNeil Designer Portraits. And what he does is he composes family portraits that are done in a photographic style, but with backdrops of pretty much anywhere you can imagine. Obviously, Colorado, we have backdrops that are just spectacular. And I was looking through his website, and I tended to look at the backdrops instead of the people that were within the photograph. But he does excellent work, and then what he does is he mounts those on canvas for a real wonderful piece of art that's an heirloom and legacy for the family. He also has been called the Rocky Mountain Portrait Artist by John Fielder. He was born in New Haven, Connecticut, made his way out to Colorado. And in case you don't know Craig through his photographic ability, you may recall reading his articles in the Rocky Mountain News because he was a syndicated columnist for 20 years for the Rockies. And what he did was provide articles based upon skiing. And he's also an author, and he wrote the book, How to Ski Blues and Blacks. Does that also include Without Becoming Black and Blue? Okay, just want to make sure. But he is a ski instructor. We have a lot in common because I'm a ski instructor as well. He's a competitor, and he's also a coach in skiing. He's also a drummer in a rock and roll band, and I know that we have some musicians here. Tom, Will, so forth. Get to know Craig. He is married to Amy McNeil of 31 years and has two kids. Sean, who is with Starbucks, and Maria, she was formerly with the Coast Guard Academy and is back here in Colorado. He's also been involved with the Boy Scouts and currently involved with Knights of Columbus. His main reason for wanting to join Rotary is an opportunity to contribute to the community and receive nothing in return. I ask you to join me in welcoming our newest member, Craig McNeil.
Craig, welcome to Rotary Club 31. Rotary is a worldwide organization. It's full of business professionals, leaders, and all of us are engaged in humanitarian service. We encourage high ethical standards in all locations, and we help build and we literally help goodwill, peace, and health across our second VP, Alan Friedberg, and immediate past president, Zach, who was boiling the oil and getting the feathers. Thank you for all of you. Outgoing directors, there are 4. Would you please come up and get your plaque? Alan Friedberg, Jim Mack, Grant Wilkins, and Eric White. You guys have been magnificent. You kept us again between. Continuing directors in the coming year that Alison will get great good pleasure to work with. Pam Adams, Peg Johnston, Brian Hickle, please stand. Bob Loudermilk, Charlie Miller, Kristen Schaefer, Rich Spahn, and Lynn Gandera. Please stand. Let's say thank you. And I'm going to list the committee members, and for the newest members, watch the number of people that stand during this meeting. It is amazing how many people are involved in this club. Club service, Jim White. History, Carl Lindsay. Attendance, club recognition, Jim White and Sandy Adams. Memorial resolutions, Todd Bacon, family of Rotary, Sue Davis Hornby. Communications, Valerie Hopkins. Valerie's doing a great job in the district as well. Meetings, Pat Adams and Glenna, they are not going to be here today. Blessings, Mark Donovan. Blessings. Please stand. Fellowship, Don Caney, Siva, Doug McLemore, who is back here. Audio visual, Doug McLemore and Michael Dondero. Membership, Lonnie Langton. Retention, Brian Geis. New member orientation, Carter Sales. Past presidents, Rotary friend was Jim Warner. The TNTs, it's the 2009-10 new member class chairs of the Collegiate International Student Engagement Program, and that's Jeff Howard and David French. David. Rotary Broadband, Harriet Downer, she still is doing great work out there. Rotary Foundation, Rich Spahn, Social Activities, Deb Hoffman, World Community Service, Susan Bruschiger, Youth Services, Stephen Max, College Counseling, big deal. Chuck Everell, Jerry Vidal, are you here? Would you? These gentlemen stepped up to take over when Don was. You did a great do. Thank you, sir. Denver Center for International Studies, Dan Lutz, Dr. Lutz, Interact Club, Cindy Myers, and Cynthia Baumer, Jay, DCIS Team Teach, Christy Schaefer, the High School Scholarships and Community Resources, Lynn Gandera, Ryla, Scott White, and again, Scott stepped in with Donna's passing and did just a marvelous job. Thank you very much, Scott. Scholastic Arts Awards. If you see no other Rotary program next year, do not miss that one. It is compelling, it is moving, and to see the artwork of these young people and Todd Bacon did such a great job. Shining Stars, Jim Wilkins, Vocational Scholarships, Jim Mack, Youth Exchange, Scott White, and then club fundraising, Don Lewis. You need to stand up. You did a great job. I want to do some. There will be teachings, so hang on. Rotary Projects, 9 Health Fair. Alan McLemore stayed in even though she was not a member of the club, and she ran that on our behalf. Artists of the World, Skip Ahern, and hang on, there's going to be some good news out of that one coming this fall. Denver Kids Inc., Glenna Norville, Project Cure, Wim Gandera. Please say thanks to all of these people for their hard work. Please stand. Todd has been my partner this year, and I have been his. I cannot tell you how good he is to work with, and he leads the foundation of our club. Thank you. And of course, our staff, Jamie Demet, Steve Ingers, and Darlene does it mean to be a Rotary president? I had all these grandiose ideas. I said, it means that you have to have these big, hairy, audacious goals. And that you're going to come in and you're going to make it work for everybody, and everybody will follow you. And it means that you have to have this shining look at the future for our club. And one day, and it was in March, and I even remember the day as I was leaving, and I was thinking big, hairy, audacious, goalie thoughts. I got in the door and I turned around and looked back, and it changed right at that moment. Because this room is filled with type A, double type A, do things, personalities, people that are self-energized. They know what they want to do. They're making commitments every day and they're getting things done. And I came to the conclusion that the real role of the president of Rotary is to make sure that this is the absolute best investment in time, money, talent that you can make when you're not at your job or if you're retired. And that the role of the president is to make sure that it is a place that you feel like you can grow and do things that you want to do within Rotary and provide the service you want to provide. And that changed everything. We sat down very quickly with the officers. The first thing we did, Will, Nancy, and I sat down and talked about it. We said the first thing we need to do is restructure the meeting. And we put that club secretary report at the very front because we wanted to make sure if you were a guest of this club or if you're a member of the club, you got welcomed and you were introduced. And all the good news of the club was out there. If there was something sad like today, it was out there as well. And I cannot imagine anybody more welcoming than you have been. You have been just superb in that role. And I'm reminded of the time I worked in the South, family rules, and actually the ladies down there rule the family. And the women in the South were always called the Iron Fist and the Velvet Glove. I think you're very much that. And then we began to think about building networks because Will and I talked about it at length because one of the benefits of being a Rotarian is not just showing up meetings. It really is about building a network of people in this area and across the world, literally across the world that you can call when you need help or when you want to take on a project. And we talked about it from that. Rotary was still pretty hesitant about people talking about doing business together with the Rotary. And we said, that's okay. We're going to do it anyway. We launched. And Will has come in every week with another idea on how to build it up within the club, outside the club, and across the globe. He's done it very well. And I thank you again. You really did a nice job. And lastly, and absolutely the most important, for all of you to think, when you write that check every quarter, that this is a really good investment. We had to have world-class programs. And so when I asked Pam Adams and Linda Norman to take that on, we sat down at coffee one afternoon and we laid out the ground rule was very easy. We were going to go, we didn't care who wrote notes to us, and people write notes to us all the time. But we were going to go out through the committee, and if you haven't been to one of the committee members, it's anarchy in motion. I have never seen such a group of anarchist people talking, having fun, chatting with each other. An hour later, a really cool program, so a list of programs, and they are so effective. But we said we're going to go after the programs we think have great value. Those are the programs that we want to got. And they did it. God, they hit the nail on the head almost every week. And I think they were just superb. Those pieces all together were what my conception of being president really needed. And I'm going to end very quickly by saying thank you to all of you for allowing me to spend this year learning. And I'm going to end this and turn the new leadership on with a thought that President Obama was speaking to President of Korea, Jim McGibney. It was about a year ago. And he was talking in terms of what was important in relationships. I'm going to read you a little excerpt. He said, the essence for our lives, I think, is embodied in a concept that is uniquely Korean. It does not translate that easily, but it reflects the deep affection, the bonds of the heart that cannot be broken and grow stronger with time. It is known as charm. To all of you, thank you.
your Rotary silver dollar. This is a plaque from the Rotary office. They told me I'm supposed to read this. It's in Korean. So it's the 4-way test in Korean. And we'd like to, of course, give you some idea. And I can attest that is really too heavy, so you might want to. It's a dulcet bowl, which is for cooking bibimbap, and a cookbook with some instructions. And Nina assures me this is something that Jim has been wanting. So. You know, I've been told I'm supposed to give Jim the feather duster because he's no longer the peacock, but I'm going to give this to him in the spirit of the last hiker, the strongest hiker, and I'm going to need you to clean up my messes with this.
Welcome to Feather Dusterville. Thank you.
Well, they give the new president an easy job to start out with, and that is to welcome our incoming directors and officers. So I'd like to have each person stand and be recognized, and we'll hold our applause until all people have been acknowledged. So we have incoming directors, Tom Bays, Larry Bloss, Don Lewis, and Giles Colson. We have our 2013-2014 club officers, the president-elect Jim Goddard, our treasurer Jack Green, our secretary Brad Blankenberg, our first vice president Charlie Miller, our second vice president Chrissy Schaefer, our sergeant at arms Will Snyder, and our immediate past president Jim McGibney. As you look at this, I can see the roast coming since we have 4 bakers on the team. So go ahead and applaud. And now I'd like to recognize our 2013-2014 standing committee chairs. Club Service, Jim White, that's his 5th year. Communications, Valerie Hopkins, that's her 2nd year, and please stand up while you're being recognized. Meetings, Pam Adams, that's her 2nd year. Membership, Mark Donovan, our new Rotarian of the Year. Our new class projects, CSEP, Jeff Howard and David French, 2nd year. Our Rotary Broadband Project, Harriet Downer, that's her 3rd year. Rotary Foundation Support, Rich Spong for his 3rd year. Our RI Programs Ambassadorial Scholarships, Jim McGibney. Social Activities, Debbie Kaufman, that's her 2nd year. World Community Services, Phil Getter, thank you, Phil. Youth Services, Melissa Kelly. Our club fundraisers, our 2013 Branch Rickey Award, Harry Ellison. Our 2012 Peak Sale, Kyle Henderson for his 2nd year. Our other partnering organizations, Artists of the World, Skip Ahern, Project Cure, Win Gandera, and 9 Health Bear, Holly McLemore. So thank you so much. And of course, I'd like to thank our 2013-2014 DRCF President, Lucius Ashby. You know, when I considered the decision to accept or decline the presidential position, one of my considerations was speaking at the podium, which I'm not really fond of. Darlene assures me that I'm going to get better as I go along, so for all of our sakes, let's hope that's a really quick process. You know, having a year as a president-elect is really very helpful. You know, I've been to a lot of events, and one of the best events I attended was the large club conference. You know, there were lots of small groups and discussions, but one question that really resonated to me was this, Jamie. How do we change the answer of who we are? And I think that question really resonates with me. Jamie, you can turn the slide. So as I thought about that, I realized we already have the framework thanks to Jim's great leadership. We have programs. Pam Adams and the team do a great job of bringing us relevant and interesting programs. And as Ed Kraft reminded me just the other day, that without great programs, he would not have a compelling reason to be here. Networking. Jim and Will have certainly led the road here. We're leading the way with opportunities to do business with our trusted partners, other Rotarians. We have our website. Valerie has brought us so far. We have Facebook, we have Tweety, we have, I don't know what all we have, but Valerie, I have to tell you, I'm really great at Excel. Facebook, I'm no good at. The other day, I got on there. I have no idea where it was, but now I get an email every day from Brighton Ford asking them if I know them. So I need some coaching here. The social committee, Debbie Kaufman does such a great job of finding ways for us all to have fun together. Jamie? So then I started thinking, about our club culture. And as I thought about that, who are potential new Rotarians? Our club has a history of inviting CEOs, retirees, new career entrants. Who is the right new Rotarian? And Jamie? And so my answer to that is that Rotarians are people with a soul for service. Donna Lee reminded me that it's customary for a president to have a slogan. So I said, I'm a CFO. I don't make catchy slogans. I don't think I'm going to have a slogan. I really can't do that. But as I went to some more events and I spent some time thinking about our club and my vision, I think I was able to distill it down into 4 words. And Jamie? Those words are, the time is now. If you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. I like to read leadership books, and I'm sure I've read, as many of you have, Great by Choice. And one of the advice from that is to look at our performance honestly and acknowledge opportunities for improvement as well as areas that we excel. So when I think about our club, membership, the fact is that our membership is declining. We're down 47 members since 2008. We have some pressure with our operating cash flow. Foundation contributions are not exactly where we want them to be. Jim called a meeting of the past presidents, and at that meeting we spent some time thinking about, is the large club really where we want to go? Is that really what we want to be? And the answer to that is a resounding yes. Our large club has, a very cachet. There is something that resonates about being the oldest and largest Rotary club in the state of Colorado. Our service projects have scale, they have volume. And, in the spirit of friendly competition, really, we cannot let the Boulder Club beat us in members. So, Jamie, if you want to go ahead and go to the next slide. Human capital is the most important asset of any organization, but especially for a service club. During my year, I like to think about engagement and ignite our passion. We have so many things to be proud of, and we need to be reminded of that. And you've all gotten messages from Todd Bacon reminding us what our foundation does. And I just find those so exciting to get and remember how many great things our club does. I'm working with Jim M, Jim G, Mark Donovan, and the team, on a membership goal of a net new 65 members. And we need to really say, how do we help people find the answer of why their lives would be so much richer with Rotary in it? And we need to think about succession planning. Tom and Seth have done some great thinking about new generations. We really need to find a way to attract Gen X and Gen Y to assure that Rotary remains relevant for the next 100 years. So go ahead and flip to the next slide. So the time is now to engage Rotary and change lives. And before I turn over the podium, I'd be remiss in not thanking some people who are really important to me. My dad is one of the most ethical people I know. He lives his life by the 4-way test. I really have such a great example. My mom is one of the most generous people I know, and I'm so lucky she runs a bra shop. and she makes all my jewelry. So I'm wearing a piece of jewelry today that my mom made. So every day, if I'm having a hard day, I have something that my mom made me, and I can just really kind of surround that. My husband, John, you know, he reminds me that I really do not have to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, kayak around the lake 5 times before 9 o'clock, that, you know, it is okay to take some time to relax and enjoy life. And of course, Marcy, friendship makes life so meaningful. And I need to thank, you know, Jim McGibney and really all of you for the honor of becoming the president. I really hope I can live up to your expectations. Thank you so much. So now it's Seth Patterson to the roast of Jim McGibney.
Thank you, Allison. I'd like to invite Jim McGibney up to...
Coming.
All right, thanks, Jim. First, just a few comments. As immediate past president of the club, I was in charge of developing Jim's roast with help from the club officers, as many of you recall. Jim was in charge of my roast last year. Jim, that make you nervous? Don't worry. I promise I will show you all the respect and decorum you showed me. I was real nervous. You know, I solicited input from every single member of Jim's administration, several in the club who know Jim better than I, and those such as Charlie who are far more capable than I in these kind of presentations. Where am I? As well as Jim's lovely wife, Nina. Thank you, Nina. And thank the rest of you. Frankly, or with all due respect and appreciation for everyone's input, I really didn't get roasting material. You know, it was, I don't know, made me think that maybe Jim really did lead a clean life. Either that or he's hiding something. I don't know. We know how well connected Jim is with what we've been hearing about the NSA. Maybe he's got some friends there and they intercepted Glenn and Mike's emails. Or maybe somebody's hiding something. But as evidence of probably the clean living, Nina, bless her heart, offered several very family-oriented photos showing President Jim at their wedding and with their lovely children. We'll show some of those in a few minutes, and you'll see a much younger and slimmer Jim with just a wee bit of hair on the very top of his head and a very full beard, no doubt as compensation for hell. In the famous words of Dr. Phil, I don't want to know what he was compensated for. Of course, to our past president, Sue Fox, Jim will always be tall, dark, and handsome. But of course, kind of everybody's tall and Sue. Sorry, we roasted her a few years back. In any event, Jim, you've had a very good year. And before I forget, I want to make sure all of you know, because I don't think Jim has really gone out of his way to tell you this. Jim has served for 2 years as consul, honorary consul to the Republic of Korea. Let's give Jim a big hand for that. Okay. That's enough of that positive stuff. This is a roast. What the hell you guys think? I did have the opportunity to interview Jim on behalf of the Keyway about his year. Jim, can you tell us what you feel was the highlight of your year as club president?
Well, without a doubt.
Is that on?
Yes, I get closer this way. Without a doubt, it was the Branch Rickey Award event last fall, where we honored Peyton Manning. It was just outstanding. His profound contributions to the rich history of humanitarianism in the National Football League, game of football in general, just absolutely stellar. Peyton's life story was profoundly
first participant in Major League Football, not the NFL, and the honoree was R.A. Dickey from the Mets. You know, the only knuckleballer in the league.
Oh, and I totally meant MLB, not NFL. And of course, I meant R.A. Dickey, and not Peyton Manning. But, you know, Peyton, he had a really good honoree. And maybe you can learn that knuckleball thing from R.A.
Jim, I don't know if we've got enough time to straighten you out on this sports stuff. So let's move on. How do you think the Branch Rookie Award Gala is shaping up this year, Jim?
Well, Don Lewis just did an absolutely fantastic, wonderful, terrific job this last year. And I know that Harry Ellison has some terrific plans for this coming year, and it'll just be over the top. And you know, with the release of the movie 41, I'm 150% confident that this year will be totally top drawer. You know, the title of the movie is the same number for Jackie Robinson that he won. What a wonderful title.
Jim, Jackie's number was actually 42, and that was the name of the movie. Have you always had this trouble with numbers? You know, as an engineer, your clients probably are getting a little worried.
Yeah, 42, but yeah, I totally knew that. Just like President George H.W. Bush was number 43, and his son George W. Bush was 41, right? If they played with the L.A. Dodgers along with Jackie, they would have had consecutive numbers.
Well, actually, George H.W. was 31, and George W. was 43. Just think about age, chronology, and whatnot. And when Jackie played for the Dodgers, he was in Brooklyn, not L.A.
Well, yeah, I get it. I wonder why George W. didn't ask Jackie to play for the Texas Rangers. That would have been a deeply meaningful decision.
Okay, moving on. Speaking of U.S. presidents, did you know that for roughly 47 out of almost 225 years of our country, we had no vice presidents?
I did not, but what a superb idea. That's a great way to divert suggestions such as might come from having a Rotary Club board meeting every month rather than every other month. What were my predecessors thinking? They really need that much board input? I thank the Lord in heaven I was able to cut the input from the board in half. We only met every other month. So we were able to get lots of decisions in the meantime with email votes and no discussion. On top of that, by preparing the minutes of each board meeting myself, I was able to ensure that any crazy ideas that might have come from my predecessors at Patterson didn't make it in the record. Oh, deepest apologies, Seth. I forgot you were standing right there. That technique is just one of many things that I learned from Jack Welch personally.
No problem, Jim. You thought that comment was to be expected. But you know, that approach with the board might sound like some to be a move towards dictatorship under the guise of efficiency. You weren't aiming for Club 31 president for life, Jim McGibney, were you?
Compelling idea. Can we wrap this up so I can hurry and get out an email to the board before June 30th? Approving your wonderful suggestion.
Yeah, sure, Jim. Just hang on. You know, our members normally like to better understand the person behind the nameplate. Can you tell us a little bit about James McGibney, the person, as you grew up, got married, and whatnot? You know, the only thing I know about South Dakota is that the capital's Pierre. Kind of a funny to have a French name for a town in South Dakota, isn't it?
Well, Seth, the French name for a town in South Dakota would just be profoundly wrong. That's why we pronounce it Pierre.
Well, pardon my derriere.
Yeah. And in South Dakota, we call that the rear.
Well, Jim, you also have some Montana roots, and I know that the capital of Montana is pronounced Butte.
No, that's not right. Folks in Montana.
Jim, this is a family show. Just don't go there.
Well, okay, but the capital of Montana is Helena. Don't you know anything?
Well, you know, you can go to hell in a handbasket for all I care, Jim. But Please tell us a little bit more about growing up in Montana.
Well, there was that time in 4th grade when I asked current member Sherry Helmstetter out. We were on the bus and growing up together in Montana, sitting on that bus, and for some reason she emerged, simply continued staring out the window. I didn't know what to think. Then reality set in quickly, and I realized that no self-respecting 9-year-old girl wants to see her own reflection on the top of her date's head.
By the way, Jim, back to South Dakota for a minute. Is it true what they say about Aberdeen, South Dakota?
Well, what's that, son?
Well, it's the name of a breed of cows and a Midwestern state that has more of them than people.
Well, Mr. Immediate Past President, what I know of the tiny town in southeastern Colorado where you grew up, you of all people completely resemble that smart-ass remark. Except that it's dry there so that the cattle all move to South Dakota.
Okay, fair point. You win. Jim, can you tell us a little bit about your marriage ceremony? It was in that famous land of romantics, South Dakota, right?
Well, yes, it was. As a matter of fact, in good Romeo and Juliet South Dakota tradition, I think we did the polka, the chicken dance, and the hokey pokey.
What do you mean you think? Don't you remember?
Well, you know, in South Dakota, you never dance when you're sober. But I do have some faint memories of bar hopping between the wedding and the reception.
Another South Dakota tradition, no doubt.
Oh, yes, but it doesn't take very long because there are only 5 bars in South Dakota. That's the same number of towns with more than 1,000 people, not counting the cows, of course.
All right, Jim. Let's move to some of the stuff with the ceremony. What kind of gifts did you get?
Well, gifts from the tractor supply registry, that was immensely gratifying. We got a lot of green. I can't tell you how many implements on our list that we were so fortunate to receive.
Green. Jim, you really put cash on your registry? Is that a South Dakota tradition?
Hell no, a bunch of green, you know, John Deere implements.
Oh, okay. That sounds like just a great start to any marriage. I'm sure Nina was thrilled. What church did you get married in?
Well, at the time, the Flat Earth Society and similarly progressive groups were big influences in South Dakota. So I thought there were only 2 religions in the world, the Catholics and the Lutherans. Catholics seem to have a lot more fun than the Lutherans, so we had a Catholic ceremony.
Okay. Did you have any trouble scheduling your wedding in the Catholic church?
No. Once we blocked out the high school football games, calf branding and weaning and hunting, several of those seasons, you know. Oh, and harvest. We nailed it right down.
Great. Can you tell us about the time you asked Nina for her hand in marriage?
Of course, I can see it now. It was a grand Friday night. I had just picked up a 6-pack. And we were on Lover's Lane, that lonely stretch of road. Actually, pretty much every stretch of road in South Dakota. And we were shining for deer. We got a doe in the headlights, and I popped the question. Nina was a bit confused at first, thinking I'd ask her if she would be my doe. You know, that saying about men and sheep in Wyoming. Well, there's a similar one about deer in South Dakota, but I digress. Fortunately, I quickly cleared up Nina's confusion. She said yes. We've had just a splendid marriage. I couldn't have asked for a better partner. Oh, but damn, that doe was cute.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Jim, that's maybe this be a little bit too much information. I think we need to change the topic. Tell us what you did after the wedding, but keep it clean.
Well, of course, we cruised Main Street, but after a couple hours, that 6 blocks got a little boring. So we decided to go out for a drive along the lake.
Don't you mean to drive around the lake, Jim?
No, sirree. In South Dakota, we learned to drive on frozen lakes, which we can do pretty much 10 months out of the year.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. Tell us about the festivities before your wedding.
Well, of course, we went to the bait shop.
The paint shop.
What's wrong with that? After partying the night before, we really needed something for our aching heads. All of the pain medications are right next to the night crawlers in the paint shop. And while we were there, we also picked up all the food for our reception. Caterers rent space in the paint shop from the owner.
Okay, now I'm getting really scared. What else can you tell us about your wedding?
Well, of course, true tradition in South Dakota, we served lots of soda. All of our out-of-state friends were really upset. Told them that. They wanted pop. We damn near had ourselves in a bloody interstate quarrel. It turns out that outside of the upper Midwest, soda is pop. Who knew? At least we could agree after several drinks, I should say, Brown Royal is a fine blended Canadian whiskey. For some reason, they thought we were telling them that Queen Elizabeth was going to make an appearance.
Okay, Jim, thanks for that. Tell us a little bit about your kids.
Well, Nina and I, we had the best kids in the world. Matthew loved to help me work on our houses. We had 3, and one of these days I plan to finish at least one of them. For some reason, Nina would really like that too. Matthew was such a great help to me in the summers, and he got a great tan.
Is that how Matthew got paid his way through college? Summer jobs from you?
Hey, my son? Are you nuts?
Okay. Tell us about your lovely daughter, Misha.
She is just fabulous. Wonderful, terrific, excellent, and really talented in the field of fashion. She always helps me pick the right tie, make sure that I look completely dapper when I leave the house.
So, are you suggesting that white socks with sandals and shorts are making a comeback?
Well, that's only my off-duty wardrobe.
Jim, would you mind leading us in the 4-way test just one last time?
Sure, I've been practicing it all week long and without the screen, so here goes. Is it for Ruth? Does it concern a fair at all? Will it build a goodwill and better ships for friends? Will Ben, the official, be at all concerned?
Jim, who the heck are Ruth and Ben?
I have no idea, but I bet Grant Wilkins knows.
I bet Grant will flunk you 4 ways on the test. As you may have noticed, and today's a perfect example, President Jim has a regular habit of very liberal use of superlatives. Some might say whether warranted or not. With that in mind, let me close this interview. President Jim, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations on a great year. By the way, what's your middle name?
My middle
Initial, yes.
It's a W. Why do you ask?
Well, I just assumed it was an S.
What made you think that?
Well, I've just never met an engineer from Montana and South Dakota, no less, who has such a positive view of virtually everything as you do, and is as generous with superlatives as you are. In one conversation to boot, hell, I lose count every meeting. So I just assumed your middle name must be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
What a fantastic idea. Unfortunately, I was born before Mary Poppins was, so the best my parents could come up with was W. My middle name is wonderful. But I think I'm going to check into changing that middle name, take advantage of your fabulous idea. I'm sure that Nina and the kids would be just thrilled.
Well, I think we can all agree today that supercalifragilistic is indeed a very appropriate word to describe your Jim. Thanks so much for your service. Just one suggestion. Maybe you should pull out that 4-way test point whenever you recite it again.
Is it for Ruth?
Get the point, Jim. Get the point. We would like to quickly show now some of the photos that Nina provided. We'll continue with this morning's remarks. There's Jim, graduation with hair. I think that was 8th grade last time he really had a full head. Jim and Nina, who said in South Dakota you couldn't be hippies. She looks awfully excited. Jim looks like he's gone off. That's the rehearsal dinner, clearly from the bake shop. Their wedding, 78. Jim has quite a sparkle in his eye. I know looks a little nervous. Hiking in Rocky Mountain National Park, hair going. Black tie in it. Transferred all his hair to the kids. That's this part. Trying to catch a fish. Matthew looks like he's wondering what the hell he's doing there. Jim getting ready to catapult the kids out of Disneyland. Must have been a really bad day. And you can see Jim in the background there. He had a really bad day. That's Matthew dressed up as Jim. Trying to act like he's in a parade. Even Matthew didn't want those white socks and sandals to be shown. He cut the picture off. Eric Clapton has always been one of Jim's heroes. Lots of hair. And this is Jim and his children, I think, from in Korea. As you may know, Jim's kids are both adopted from Korea. Audubon, actually, I think that's one of the unfinished